welcome to Delaware Park.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Have you ever ridden here before?
One time, I think about 20 years ago, I came down and rode a filly for a Rokeby stable called Ivory Wand in the Delaware Oaks. She was an exceptionally nice filly and went on after that to do a lot of good things, but that day she got a little hot and kind of lost her mind, and the starting gate flipped and subsequently was scratched and didn't make the race.
So you came all the way down to Delaware for nothing, it seems like. I hope that didn't tarnish your feelings about Delaware Park.
No, not at all. It's a pleasure to come back here. I've seen some people here today that I haven't seen in a long time, and it's nice to renew some old acquaintances and come in to participate in races like the Delaware Handicap that they have here today.
Now, Pat, you were taping this right after the second race on Delcap Day, and you already won the race, so that's got to help you feel better about Delaware Park.
Well, we got to start it off on the right foot. We'll see if we can maintain the momentum now.
All right, this morning, Pat, my dad, who's not much of a racing guy, called me and said he wanted to bet the Delaware Handicap. And I said, well, who do you want? He said, give me Pat Day's horse. Now, here's a guy that doesn't know anything about racing, but he knows Pat Day. So how does it feel to be one of the elite jockeys in the world?
Well, that's a tremendous compliment, and it's a great feeling. You know, when I started out in this game, I just wanted to do the best that I could and go as far as the God-given talent that I have would take me, and to be mentioned among the greats, and to be, as you said, your father doesn't know much about racing but wanted to bet on my horse. I mean, I take that as a tremendous compliment, and it's a great feeling of self-satisfaction.
I think it's also something that racing needs. Back in the 50s and 60s, a baseball fan, a non-baseball fan would know the names Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle, and a non-racing fan would know Eddie Arcaro and Willie Shoemaker. How does it feel that you might be like that right now, a name that not a horse racing fan knows? Well,
to be mentioned in the same breath as Arcaro and Shoemaker is that's the ultimate, you know. And from a rider's perspective, that's the elite of the elite, and the master and the all-time winningest rider. I mean, how can you be mentioned in better company than that, you know?
Well, Pat, I know you're pretty modest, but let's be serious here. You're the 6th leading winningest jockey of all time. You're in the Hall of Fame. You've won Eclipse Awards. What more is there for you to do?
Well, I don't know. Today we'd like to, I think we're riding 4 more races, and we'd like to win 4 more races today. You know, it's I've never been what you might call a goal-oriented person. I've never started out at a meet or at the start of the year and said, well, I want this to be an Eclipse Award-winning season. Each day we've gone out and tried to do the best we could with every mount and every opportunity possible, and the numbers have stacked up. So what my short-term goal here today is to win 4 more races. My long-term goal in life is to one day hear Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, say, well done, my good and faithful servant, and that would be the ultimate.
That's a good point here, and it brings up another point. When you ride like a Kentucky and Oaklawn in years past, everybody knows you, and you just get bet down by the fans whether you have the best horse or not. And is that sometimes upsetting when you try your best to win? You always do. And because you just don't have the best horse, you disappoint a lot of fans, and they take it out on you. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's a price you have to pay, I guess. I'm able to accept it quite graciously, and not because of myself, but because of the work that the Lord is doing in me. I wasn't always so gracious. My desire today is to be either a humble winner or a gracious loser, and the Lord has helped me to work towards that end. But with regards to to the fans betting on my horses and making them sometimes the favorites, and not deservedly so, and then when the horse runs 3rd or 4th or 5th or whatever, and I come back and get a few catcalls out of the grandstand, well, I guess that's to be expected given the success that we've had.
Well, you also got to take the good with the bad, and I noticed for the first race here at Delaware Park, I heard fans yelling, "Welcome to Delaware, Pat. Good to have you here." How does that make you feel?
Oh, it's great. You know, the game has been awfully good to me. The racing industry has been good to me. The thoroughbred racing game, and it's to be accepted like that and to be welcomed like that is, I can't put that into words. It's just a great feeling.
Pat, I know you've ridden some great ones. Is there any particular horses that were your favorites to ride? Not necessarily the best, but you like to ride them.
Well, I kind of like all horses. You know, there's some of them that I haven't gotten along with, just like some people. You try to get along with everybody, but some of them, your personalities just conflict. But and I've been blessed to ride so many nice horses. It would be hard to single out just 1 or 2. You know, I've had a tremendous career and feel very fortunate to have ridden the number of good horses that we've had the opportunity to ride.
And of course, because you're such a famous jockey and popular jockey, you've ridden at all the great racetracks. Do you have any particular track that you like to ride at?
Well, there again, that would be hard to say. You know, I've had a great deal of success basically everywhere we've gone, and got some fond memories that we've cultivated at nearly all the racetracks we've participated at. Obviously, Churchill Downs is my home base and where my home is now in Louisville, Kentucky. and of course the home of the Kentucky Derby. I guess if I had to say there was one favorite, that would be it. But I've enjoyed participating at all the racing facilities around the country and around the world that we've had a chance to go to.
I assume you're heading for Saratoga in August?
And that's our plans right now, yes.
All right, and in this jockey's room at Delaware Park, I'm here every day, and we have some talented young jockeys. What kind of advice can Pat Day give them to let them keep plugging and know that they can make it big sometime too?
Well, you just got to put your best foot forward. You know, the Bible commands us to do all that we do with all of our heart is doing it unto the Lord, and that would be my suggestion to them, to go out with the enthusiasm and the only sure thing about horse racing is that there isn't a sure thing. Go out there with a positive attitude, knowing that you're going to give it your very best shot, and then graciously accept the outcome, whether you're winning or losing, and try to move forward. Watch the horses that you ride. Come back and try to be able to tell the trainer something intelligent about them, you know, that will... You're part of a team. Try to give them some advice that might help you next time, and be courteous and be a gentleman, or a lady, as the case may be, and never get too high on yourself.
When you come into jockeys' rooms as a visitor, like at Delaware Park, do some of the young jockeys come up and ask you advice, or are they intimidated because you're the great Pat Day?
Some of the riders that I've been around, some of the young riders like Otto Thorworth, I was around him when he first started riding. He didn't come necessarily looking for advice, but just to renew an acquaintance. Once in a while, I get questions, but I'm afraid that they might be intimidated a little bit. I would tell them, don't be intimidated. I put my pants on just like they do, one leg at a time, and the only stupid question is the one that's not asked. So if they have questions, I would certainly field their questions and try to answer them to the very best of my ability.
Well, then let me ask you one more stupid question. How much longer are you going to be riding, Pat?
I'll leave that in the hands of the Lord. I in 1984 committed my life to Christ and thought I was being called into the full-time ministry. The Lord subsequently revealed to me that He had saved me to work within our industry, to take the God-given talent that I have and the opportunities that He would make available to me, and to do the very best that I could with that, and then use that platform, my success as a platform, with which to get people's attention and share the gospel message. Since that time, I've just taken it one day at a time, praying diligently and desperately that I would just be obedient. By that, I mean if I leave here today and the Lord impresses upon my heart that I'm to go somewhere and start a mission, I want to go and do that, because I know that for Pat Day, there's no true joy apart from the will of God. And so I want to do what the Lord would have me to do. And right now, I feel comfortable and confident that this is what He would have me to do. But as I said, I just want to be obedient. When the time comes for me to move into another arena of life, I feel confident that I will know that, and then I will go.
There you are, Pat Day. As you can see, a serious person, a deeply religious person, and we really thank you for taking the time to talk with us, Pat.